Did you know that Paris, the city of light, wasn't always so luminous? In fact, it was once a small, dark and muddy village. Picture this: over 2,000 years ago, nestled on the banks of the river Seine, a tribe known as the Parisii established a humble fishing village. This was a time when Paris was not yet Paris, and the grandeur we associate with it today was far from reality. As the Romans expanded their empire, they stumbled upon this settlement. Intrigued by its strategic location, they decided to develop it further. Under Roman rule, the once modest village started to grow, slowly but surely, into a thriving town. Think of paved roads replacing muddy paths, stone houses springing up and trade flourishing. The Romans named it Lutetia, a far cry from the Paris we know today. From a small and insignificant village, Paris was on its way to becoming one of the greatest cities in the world. The Middle Ages brought a lot of changes to Paris, not all of them pleasant. This period, roughly spanning from the 5th to the 15th centuries, molded the city in ways that are still evident today. The early Middle Ages saw Viking invasions terrorize the city. Norsemen sailed up the Seine River, causing havoc and casting a long shadow of fear. Yet, Parisians proved resilient, their city enduring these hardships and gradually regrowing stronger. However, the city's challenges were far from over. The Black Death, a devastating plague, swept across Europe in the 14th century, decimating Paris's population. This catastrophic event was a grim chapter in the city's history, but it was not the end. Paris, like a phoenix, rose from the ashes, slowly rebuilding and regenerating. Then came the Renaissance, a period of cultural, artistic, and architectural rebirth that swept across Europe, and Paris was no exception. This period, stretching from the 14th to the 17th centuries, witnessed an explosion of creativity and innovation. The cityscape of Paris began to change, mirroring the intellectual and cultural transformation of the time. One of the most iconic landmarks from this period is the Louvre. Originally a fortress, it was transformed into a royal palace in the 16th century. This architectural gem, now one of the world's largest and most visited museums, stands as a testament to the city's resilience and its capacity for reinvention. The Renaissance also saw the construction of other notable Parisian landmarks. The Pont Neuf, Paris's oldest standing bridge, was completed in the 17th century, symbolizing the city's continual growth and connection. Paris endured through adversity and flourished during the Renaissance, setting the stage for the Age of Enlightenment. The Enlightenment brought a wave of intellectual and cultural growth, but it also sowed the seeds of revolution. As the 18th century dawned, Paris became a beacon of enlightenment, a period marked by an explosion of philosophical thought, scientific discovery, and cultural refinement. The city's salons, coffeehouses, and academies buzzed with intellectual discourse, fostering an environment where ideas about liberty, equality, and fraternity took root. Paris during the Enlightenment was a place of cultural and intellectual ferment. Its thinkers, known as philosophes like Voltaire, Rousseau, and Diderot, challenged traditional authority and embraced reason, science, and individualism. Their ideas, disseminated through the printed word, sparked a thirst for knowledge, a questioning of authority, and a desire for political and social reform. Yet the seeds of revolution were being sown. The city's glittering facade belied deep social and economic inequalities. The burden of taxation fell heavily on the common people, while the nobility and the clergy enjoyed privileges. The very ideas that spurred the Enlightenment, liberty, equality, and fraternity, began to stir the cauldron of revolution. The storming of the Bastille on July 14, 1789, marked the beginning of the French Revolution. This fortress prison, a symbol of royal authority, was taken by an angry mob, igniting a wave of rebellion that swept across Paris and the nation. The Reign of Terror followed, a period where thousands were executed for their perceived opposition to the revolution, including Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. Yet from the ashes of revolution rose a new Paris. Streets were renamed, churches secularized, and monuments erected to celebrate the triumph of the people. The revolution, while tumultuous, was transformative. It uprooted the old order, reshaping Paris into a city where ideas could flourish, where the people could have a voice. The revolution reshaped Paris, paving the way for the city we know today. The Enlightenment and the Revolution, these twin forces of change, forever marked Paris, infusing it with a spirit of intellectual curiosity, cultural vibrancy, and a fierce commitment to liberty. In the 19th century, Paris transformed from a medieval city into the city of light. This transformative period was largely due to the reign of Napoleon III and the work of Georges Eugène Haussmann, commonly known as Baron Haussmann. Napoleon III, the nephew of the famous Napoleon Bonaparte, ascended to the French throne in the middle of the 19th century. He had a grand vision for Paris, imagining a city that could rival the beauty of ancient Rome. To bring this vision to life, he appointed Baron Haussmann as the prefect of the Seine. Haussmann, an ambitious and determined man, wasted no time in getting to work. He undertook a massive urban renewal project that forever changed the face of Paris. His aim was to modernize the city, to make it more accessible, more beautiful, and more sanitary. One of Haussmann's most significant changes was the creation of wide boulevards. These boulevards were not only aesthetically pleasing, but they were also practical, allowing for smoother traffic flow and easier navigation through the city. They also served a strategic purpose, as they were difficult for potential rebels to barricade during uprisings. In addition to the boulevards, Haussmann was responsible for the creation of numerous parks throughout the city. These green spaces provided a respite from the hustle and bustle of city life, and they continued to be beloved by Parisians and tourists alike. Haussmann's work also included the development of the Paris Opera, a stunning architectural masterpiece that still stands as a symbol of Parisian culture and sophistication. Through these changes, Paris was transformed. The narrow, winding streets of the medieval city were replaced by wide, tree-lined boulevards. The city became brighter, more open, hence earning its nickname, the City of Light. Indeed, the Paris we recognize today, the one that millions fall in love with each year, was born in the 19th century. It emerged from the ashes of the old, a city of light, culture, and beauty. It became a place where history and innovation intertwine, where every street tells a story, and where the spirit of the past is still very much alive. The Paris we recognize today was born in the 19th century, a city of light, culture, and beauty. The 20th century brought both triumph and tragedy to Paris. As the city stepped into the 1900s, it found itself at the epicenter of world events, playing a critical role in both world wars. The city faced occupation during the Second World War, only to be liberated in a wave of joy and relief in 1944, marking a turning point in Parisian history. In the aftermath, Paris became a haven for intellectuals, artists, and writers. The 1920s saw the emergence of the lost generation, a term coined by Gertrude Stein to describe the expatriate writers and artists disillusioned by the destruction of the Great War. This period birthed a vibrant cultural renaissance with Paris at its heart, fostering luminaries like Ernest Hemingway, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Pablo Picasso. However, the mid-century was not without its strife. The student protests of 1968, a pivotal social and cultural moment, shook the city's foundations. Tens of thousands of students took to the streets demanding educational reform and broader societal change. This marked a significant shift in Parisian society, driving a wave of modernization and change that resonates in the city's spirit even today. As we move beyond the 20th century, Paris continues to evolve, gracefully embracing the new while honoring the old. The city is a global leader in fashion, art, and cuisine, and it's at the forefront of efforts to combat climate change. Paris is ever-changing, yet it remains timeless, a testament to its resilience and charm. So what does the future hold for Paris? While no one can say for sure, it's safe to predict that the City of Light will continue to shine brightly, a beacon of culture, innovation, and history. From a small fishing village to a vibrant, global city, Paris has a history as rich and varied as its culture. Whether you're strolling along the Seine, marveling at the Eiffel Tower, or savoring a croissant in a quaint cafe, you're partaking in a story centuries in the making. And remember, the story of Paris is far from over. It's being written every day, by every person who calls this remarkable city home. Paris, a city steeped in history, has seen it all. From its humble beginnings during the Middle Ages, the city has undergone numerous transformations, each leaving a unique imprint on its landscape and culture. The Renaissance period, for instance, brought about an unprecedented era of art and learning, forever etching Paris's reputation as a hub of intellectual pursuit and creativity. Then came the Enlightenment and Revolution, periods that witnessed Paris at the center of philosophical thought and political upheaval. The city's spirit, however, remained unbroken, emerging brighter and stronger as the City of Light. And with the dawn of the 20th century and beyond, Paris continued to evolve, cementing its status as a global city of culture, fashion, and history. Whether you're a history enthusiast or a casual traveler, there's no denying the allure of Paris. It truly is a city like no other.